Imagine, for a moment, that while you're living your life here in this world, another version of you is living a completely different life in another reality. It might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but quantum physics suggests exactly this. According to theories exploring the nature of time and space, the reality you know is just one among many. Every time you make a decision, choose a path, or even have a simple thought, a new path opens up. What's even more astonishing is that these choices, no matter how small, can create branches in your own life where other versions of you are living different realities. Now, the intriguing question is, could these versions of you in alternate realities be trying to communicate with your current version? What might they want to tell you? And more importantly, how are they sending these messages? Let's explore this hypothesis with a touch of mystery. If these parallel versions do exist, what's stopping them from influencing your current life in some way? Maybe the barrier between realities isn't as solid as we think. This is where the first clues appear. What if this communication is already happening, but you simply haven't noticed the signs? Consider those situations that give you a strange sense of familiarity, like déjà vu. It happens to all of us. You're in a place or having a conversation, and suddenly, it feels like you've been through this exact situation before. The feeling is so strong it's almost unsettling. But what is déjà vu really? Traditional science might say it's a temporary glitch in the brain, but what if there's something deeper going on? What if, instead of a mistake, déjà vu is a connection between parallel realities? Perhaps another version of you has already experienced this moment and is now sending you a signal. Maybe in that other reality you made a different choice, and now, in this life, this moment serves as a point of alert, something you should pay attention to. And what about times when something seems to be trying to warn you, like synchronicities? Those events that seem like coincidences but occur in such an improbable way that they defy logical explanation. Maybe this is further evidence that these other versions of you are communicating. Imagine this: you're contemplating an important decision, and suddenly, things related to that decision start appearing in your life. It might be a phrase you hear in a conversation, a recurring number that catches your eye, or even a person who crosses your path unexpectedly. Everything seems to align so perfectly that it can't just be chance. What if, in reality, this is a message from a version of you who has already made that decision on another plane and is now trying to guide you? The idea of communication between parallel realities doesn't stop there. Some believe that these signals could go beyond mere coincidences. Perhaps when you dream, you're accessing memories from an alternate life or even connecting with a version of you living something very different. These dreams might be a channel of communication, where the barriers between realities weaken, allowing you glimpses into other experiences. Have you ever thought that while you sleep, you might be wandering through other realities? The notion of parallel versions trying to communicate is fascinating, but it raises an inevitable question. If these versions of you are sending messages, what's the purpose? Maybe in alternate realities, these versions of you have learned something valuable, something you need to know. Perhaps they've faced challenges that you're about to encounter, and now these signals serve as a warning or a form of guidance. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to keep receiving content that will lead you to true transformation. Now that we understand that parallel versions of you might exist and are somehow trying to communicate, the question arises: how do these messages reach us? What are the signs that connect us with these other realities? And how can we recognize them? Many believe that certain inexplicable phenomena we experience daily are actually attempts by these alternative versions to convey information. Among the most common signs are déjà vu, synchronicities, and vivid dreams. Let's start with déjà vu. Who hasn't had that puzzling experience of suddenly feeling like they've lived a specific moment before? You're in a conversation or visiting a place, and for some inexplicable reason, you have a clear sensation that you've been exactly here, in this same situation, even though it's your first time there. For most people, déjà vu is a mystery. Science offers some explanations, like a temporary glitch in the brain where it confuses the present with the past. But what if it's something deeper? Imagine that this sense of familiarity isn't just a mental error but a real intersection between two parallel realities. It could be that, in another timeline, a version of you has already lived that experience, and what you're feeling is a kind of echo, a reflection of a memory from that other reality. Perhaps, at that specific moment, the veil between dimensions has thinned, allowing you to catch a glimpse of what has already happened in another life. This feeling of déjà vu might be a subtle form of communication, a way for another version of you to alert you to something important. Maybe they made a different choice at that moment, and now you have the chance to follow an alternate path. Déjà vu, however brief and unsettling, could be packed with meaning. The key is to pay attention to these moments. Don't dismiss them as mere coincidences or mental illusions. If you're attentive, you might notice they often occur at crucial moments, when you're facing a choice or a crossroads in life. Another powerful sign that parallel versions are communicating with you is synchronicity. What is synchronicity? It happens when seemingly disconnected events come together in such a coincidental way that it seems impossible to ignore. Imagine you're thinking about someone you haven't seen in years, and suddenly they call you or appear in front of you. Or maybe you're facing an important dilemma, and out of nowhere, you start noticing strange patterns. Repeating numbers, phrases that seem to answer your doubts, or unexpected signs leading you in a new direction. For many, these are just coincidences. But for those who believe in the connection between parallel realities, these synchronicities might be clear signs that something larger is at play. Perhaps it's a version of you in another reality who has already gone through this situation and is trying to guide you on a specific path. These synchronicities could be the universe's way of aligning different realities and helping you make decisions that will shape your destiny. Consider, for instance, the repetition of numbers. Many people report seeing sequences like 1111 repeatedly on clocks, license plates, or receipts. For some, these numbers are more than random patterns. They believe they might be messages from parallel versions or even universal forces, indicating that you're on the right path or that a significant change is about to happen. These moments of synchronicity have something in common. They appear when you least expect them, but often at the exact moment when you need guidance. If you start paying attention to the coincidences in your life, you might find they're guiding you toward decisions and directions that you don't fully understand yet but are aligned with your true purpose. And what about dreams? They are one of the most mysterious phenomena we experience. When we dream, our minds seem to escape the constraints of physical reality. Sometimes dreams are confusing and nonsensical, but other times, they are so real and intense that you wake up with the feeling that you've actually lived that experience. What if, instead of just a product of the unconscious, these vivid dreams are windows into other realities? Many believe that while we sleep, our subconscious becomes more receptive to influences from other dimensions. Dreams could be a way for us to connect with other versions of ourselves, accessing memories or experiences lived in different realities. Have you ever wondered why some dreams feel so detailed, with people you've never met but seem so familiar? Or why certain dreams leave you with a strong sense that there's a hidden message? In some cases, these dreams might be direct messages, alerting you to situations that your parallel version has already experienced and that you might be approaching. In other cases, they could guide you, providing clues about decisions to make or directions to take. These vivid dreams often arise during times of major change or when facing important dilemmas. Paying attention to them could be a way to gain valuable insights that transcend the reality we live in. Now that you know the main signs of communication, déjà vu, synchronicities, and vivid dreams, the question is, how do you interpret them? The first step is to stay attentive. These messages are often subtle and can easily be overlooked if you're not focused. Pay attention to the details. What were you thinking or feeling when you experienced déjà vu? What was happening in your life when synchronicities started to appear? And what emotions or sensations did the dreams evoke in you? Moreover, it's essential to trust your intuition. Intuition is one of the most powerful tools for interpreting these signals. When you sense that something goes beyond mere chance, follow that feeling. Sometimes, answers don't come in logical or rational forms, but as a deep sense that something has meaning. To better decipher these signals, you need to become more attuned to them. Here's how to do that and how to use them to guide your decisions and navigate through the infinite possibilities that your parallel versions are living. The first step is to listen to your intuition. You know that feeling where you just know something but can't explain why? That sudden hunch that seems to pull you in a certain direction without any apparent logic? That, my friend, is intuition. And it might be much more than just a guess. What you might not have realized is that this intuition could be a message from another version of yourself. Imagine this: in a parallel reality, a version of you has already faced exactly what you're going through now. And in that other timeline, things may have unfolded very differently. Perhaps that version of you made different choices, took other paths, and now that experience is trying to reach you through your intuition. Sound improbable? But think about it. How many times have you felt a push to follow a particular choice, even without any concrete reason? Something inside you just knew it was the right path. And when you followed that instinct, things happened almost magically. Maybe, in those moments, your intuition was more than just a feeling. Maybe it was a direct connection with another version of yourself, guiding you, alerting you, showing you what's to come. And this doesn't just happen with big decisions. Intuition also appears in small daily choices. Ever had that feeling you should call someone right at that moment? Or the sensation that you should suddenly change direction for no apparent reason? These could be signs, little whispers from a parallel reality. But is it always easy to understand this communication? Not always. This leads us to an important question: how to distinguish intuition from fears or desires. Here's the challenge. Sometimes what we think is intuition might just be a response to our own fears, insecurities, or desires. How can you tell when it's truly a subtle message from another reality and not just something you want to believe? The key lies in the tone of the message. Intuition rarely comes with anxiety or urgency. It doesn't shout or pressure. It whispers. It emerges as a quiet certainty, something so natural you barely notice. Fear, on the other hand, fear always comes with urgency, with distress, and often ends up paralyzing you. If the feeling is one of peace and clarity, even if logic doesn't support it, it might be a sign. But if you feel agitation, a desperation to act, well, that might just be fear talking. Intuition is subtle. To hear it better, you need to quiet your mind. Want to know a secret for doing this? Meditation can be your greatest ally in this process. When you quiet the noise of the mind, you create space for those whispers of intuition to become clearer. Think of meditation as a sort of frequency tuning. Just like tuning into a radio station, you adjust your vibration to better pick up these messages coming from your other realities. And the more you practice, the clearer that voice becomes. But beyond meditation, there's something even more powerful for developing your connection with intuition: constant observation. Have you noticed how certain patterns appear in your life? How some intuitive decisions lead to unexpected but significant events? If you start paying attention, you'll notice that intuition follows certain patterns. You might feel something repeatedly in similar situations. Or perhaps you notice that whenever you ignore that gut feeling, you end up facing obstacles that could have been avoided. These patterns are not coincidences. They might be your parallel versions trying to communicate consistently, showing you the way. And the more you observe, the clearer it becomes. Now, if intuition is such a powerful tool for picking up messages from other versions of yourself, what happens when you start truly trusting it? The answer is simple. You strengthen the connection with your parallel versions, and gradually your reality starts aligning with more extraordinary possibilities. But for this communication to become clearer, more frequent, and stronger, there's something crucial to be done: raising your vibrational frequency. You might be wondering, what exactly does that mean? Let's simplify it. Quantum physics already suggests that everything around us is energy. Everything vibrates at a particular frequency. And when we talk about different versions of you, they also operate at different vibrational levels. When you're at a low vibration, overwhelmed by feelings like fear, anger, or insecurity, it's harder to pick up those subtle signals. Your antenna can't tune in to the frequency of your other realities. So, how do you raise this vibrational frequency? How do you align more deeply and clearly with these versions of yourself? The answer lies in simple but extremely powerful practices. The first step is gratitude. It might seem cliché, but don't be fooled. Gratitude has immense power when it comes to raising your vibration. When you choose to focus on what you're grateful for, instead of concentrating on lacks or problems, you shift your frequency. Your energy expands. Have you noticed how, when you're truly thankful, the world around you seems to respond differently? Like more good things start flowing naturally into your life? That's not a coincidence. It's the physics of the universe in action. By practicing gratitude consistently, you raise your vibrational field. And over time, you start aligning with realities where your alternative versions are at higher frequencies, connected with your true potential. And when that happens, their messages come through with much greater clarity. Another fundamental aspect of raising your vibration is forgiveness. And we're not just talking about forgiving others, but also forgiving yourself. Resentment, guilt, and regret act as anchors that keep you stuck in low frequencies. And this not only hinders your connection with your parallel versions, but also obstructs your progress in the current reality you're in. When you decide to forgive, you free yourself. You cut the ties that bind you to denser vibrations. And by doing so, you elevate to a state where communication with your more evolved versions can flow much more easily. After all, how can you receive a message from a version of yourself that has overcome obstacles if you're still stuck in your own? If gratitude and forgiveness are powerful vibrational boosters, meditation is the fine-tuning. It allows you not only to raise your vibration, but also to maintain that elevated level and perceive the signals around you. When you meditate, you silence the noise of the external world and create space to listen to what's coming from within, or perhaps from other realities. Imagine meditation as a process of tuning. Like tuning a radio, each time you meditate, you adjust the frequency to better capture the station where the messages from your other versions are. These messages, as we've mentioned, can come in the form of intuition, but they can also appear as visions, insights, or even synchronistic events you start noticing in your daily life. Regular meditation not only connects you with these parallel versions, but also enhances your perception of the life around you. Gradually, you begin to realize that many coincidences you once ignored are actually responses and guidance coming from other dimensions of yourself. And speaking of synchronistic events, let's delve a bit deeper into that. When you raise your vibrational frequency, one of the first things that start happening frequently are synchronistic events, but not like the ones mentioned earlier, on a higher level. You know those moments when everything seems to fall into place almost perfectly, as if the universe is conspiring for you to be in the right place at the right time. This can actually be one of the clearest signs that you're connecting with your alternative versions. These synchronized events, which often defy logic, are a way for the universe to show that you're on the right path. They're little reminders that things don't happen by chance, that there's a greater intelligence operating behind every choice, every encounter, every circumstance. When you start noticing these synchronicities more frequently, it's a sign that your vibrational frequency is high. Consequently, communication with your parallel versions becomes stronger and more fluid. You begin to trust this flow more and realize that there's a deep connection between all versions of yourself, all working together to guide you in the right direction. Knowing all this is amazing, but the question is, how can you bring all this into your daily life practically? After all, it's not just about receiving messages from your parallel versions, but about how these messages impact and shape your own life. Let's consider how this integration can occur. Suppose you receive an intuitive guidance, a clear signal that a certain path aligns best with your purpose. Now, how do you put this into practice? How do you translate these messages into concrete actions and significant changes in your life? The first step is to act based on the messages you receive. It may seem obvious, but often the difficulty lies precisely in this point. We receive powerful insights, but the execution, the act of turning these ideas into reality, is what truly defines the integration of the lessons. Imagine you've had a strong intuition to change careers or to start a project you've always dreamed of. This is the moment to do more than just dream. It's time to take concrete steps towards this new direction. Of course, changing careers or starting a project can be challenging, but it's the implementation of your decisions that truly paves the way for personal evolution. Integrating lessons also involves dealing with the challenges that arise along the way. This leads to another important question. How do you react to obstacles and difficulties? Do you see these challenges as mere setbacks or as opportunities for growth? When your parallel versions send messages, they don't promise an obstacle-free path. In fact, it's often through challenges that we learn and grow the most. If you encounter a problem or setback, Instead of becoming disheartened, ask yourself what this situation might be teaching you. What can you learn from it? How can it help you evolve? This approach of viewing challenges as opportunities for learning is one of the keys to effectively integrating the lessons from your alternative versions. And what's even more fascinating, as you face and overcome these challenges, you're also, in a way, integrating the experiences of other versions of yourself that have gone through similar situations. It's almost as if you're absorbing and learning from the experiences of a you who has already traveled this path. Another crucial part of integration is reflection and self-assessment. It's important to create moments to pause and reflect on the experiences you're living. What have you learned? What worked and what didn't? This self-assessment process allows you to adjust your course and align your future actions with the lessons learned. An effective practice is keeping a journal. Write down your experiences, your intuitions, and how you've integrated these messages into your life. What have you noticed about yourself? What patterns are emerging? This journal becomes a valuable tool for mapping your progress and better understanding how your choices and actions align with your true self. As you integrate these lessons and adjust your actions, your personal evolution begins to stand out. You start to notice that you're living more authentically and aligned with your purpose. And this isn't just about achieving specific goals, but about feeling increasingly in tune with who you truly are. When you're aligned with your purpose and your actions reflect your true intentions, life seems to flow more easily. Opportunities arise almost magically, and synchronicities become more frequent. It's as if you're navigating a path that's been tailor-made for you. This personal evolution leads to a state of deeper fulfillment and satisfaction. It's the result of a consciously lived life where you don't just react to circumstances but actively create your own reality based on the lessons and guidance you receive. And there's an even more fascinating aspect of this integration: the impact that your actions and evolution have on your parallel versions. When you make a conscious choice and evolve in an area of your life, it doesn't happen just in one reality. These changes reverberate through all the realities where you exist. Imagine that each decision you make, each lesson you learn, and each personal evolution has a multiplying effect. You're not just transforming your own life, but also influencing your other versions, helping them evolve and align with their true potential. It's a cosmic dance where all versions of you are interconnected and support each other. And that's where the real magic shows itself, with your true alignment with the unity of the universe. Have you ever thought about how everything is interconnected? The idea of cosmic unity is not just a philosophical concept, but a tangible reality. As you align your actions and choices with your true purpose, you begin to perceive a subtle harmony between you and the universe around you. Alignment with the unity of the universe is about feeling part of something greater, a vast system where each of your actions resonates and creates waves in all directions. It's the sense that when you act in harmony with your true self, you're in perfect sync with the universal flow. And this alignment brings a profound sense of peace and fulfillment, as if you're exactly where you're meant to be. When you operate in sync with this unity, life becomes less about resistance and more about flow. Opportunities become clearer, synchronicities intensify, and relationships deepen. It's as if the universe is conspiring in your favor, adjusting your path so you can connect more fully with your purpose. But how do you know you're in this state of alignment? The signs are usually subtle but powerful. It's a sense of ease in decisions, a synchronicity in opportunities, and a deep feeling of being on the right path. And most importantly, it's the feeling of contributing to something greater than yourself, helping to weave the grand mosaic of the universe with your actions and intentions. This alignment isn't a permanent state but an ongoing practice. Each day, by living with intention, gratitude, and awareness, you reinforce your connection with the universal unity. And by doing so, you not only transform your own reality but also contribute to the great balance and harmony that governs the cosmos. Now, let's talk about how to turn each message you receive and each decision you make into catalysts for a truly fulfilling life. What you do with the insights and signals that appear on your path can be the key to a life that genuinely reflects who you are. Think about the messages you've already received. Each sign, each intuition is like a clue the universe gives you. They're not there by accident. Each message is an opportunity for alignment. And here's the trick. How you act on these messages can completely change the course of your life. When you receive a message from your parallel versions, it's more than just a fleeting thought or feeling. It's an indication that you're in tune with something greater. Now, what you do with this information is what really matters. If you receive a signal to change course or to pursue a new project, it shouldn't be ignored. Instead, view it as an invitation to act. Each action you take based on these insights is a step toward becoming a more authentic self. Let's talk about decisions. Each choice you make is a reflection of your alignment with your internal and external messages. When you make decisions that are in sync with what you truly want and what's best for you, you're not just creating a more authentic life, but also getting closer to your true self. Each decision made with intention and clarity can act as a catalyst, accelerating your progress toward a fulfilling life. So, how do you use these insights to live a richer life? First, you need to be proactive. Don't just settle for receiving messages. Make space for them to truly influence your life. This means implementing changes, following new paths, and adjusting your trajectory based on the signals you receive. Imagine you're navigating a boat and each message is an indication of the best course to take. By following these directions, your destination becomes clearer and more aligned with your true purpose. As you begin to integrate these messages and decisions into your life, you start living more authentically. And living authentically means living with truth and purpose. It's making each action and choice reflect not only who you are now, but who you aspire to become. It's a journey of continuous discovery and fulfillment. Remember, each message you receive and every decision you make is an opportunity to align your life with your true essence. It's a chance to create a path that not only leads you where you want to go, but also authentically reflects your deepest self. So, the next time you receive a message or make a decision, pause and ask yourself, how can this help me live a fuller and more authentic life? Use these moments to shape a life that is not just meaningful, but truly yours. Live with purpose, live with intention, and watch how your life transforms into something truly extraordinary. Now that you've seen how integrating messages from parallel versions can transform your life, let's explore how your external reality mirrors what's inside you. Did you know that what you see in the world can be a reflection of your inner state? Next, let's dive into the principle of reflection and how adjusting your inner world can completely change your external reality. Click the video appearing on the screen to discover how to transform your life from the inside out. See you there.